whatever it takes. Yeah, so normally I do not release videos this late in the day. Normally it's morning my time. I have a pretty set schedule. And I'd also said I was going to do fewer videos and not as many quick turnaround reactions, except that I actually do want to talk about this one. So, Avengers Endgame went and dropped another trailer, a little bit unexpectedly. There hadn't really been, if there were rumblings that it was happening at all, I missed them. And they didn't do their usual buildup of announcing that they were going to announce the date that the trailer drops. You know, that kind of nonsense that tends to go on. None of that happened here. In hindsight, we kind of should have expected this to happen, that they would drop a trailer which would basically debut Captain Marvel in Avengers Endgame, which this does. So, I'm loving this entire approach to the way they are advertising and marketing this movie. So it's worth pointing out that the word is, and this is unconfirmed because generally, and anyone who's seen any of the preview or early tests, anything like that, they're all under pretty strict non-disclosures and all that. But the word that's kind of filtered through from all that is that there isn't anything shown in any of these trailers, not even this later one, that is from any later than the first half hour of the movie. And if that's true, oh, that makes me so happy. Honestly, if I had control of Hollywood, I would write that into the laws of movie marketing that you do not show anything. Well, my hard line would be more than halfway into the movie, but more than a half hour into the movie, yes. If you can't pull enough out of the first half hour to sell me on the movie, then you know what? That to me says I'm going to be bored for the first half hour of the movie anyway, and I don't want to see it. So I love that. Now, that said, I don't want to overpraise this movie for doing that, because part of the reason that this movie can get away with that is because this movie has a heck of a lot more just established understanding of what it is. And so there isn't as much fear from the studio, from the marketers. Although Disney hasn't usually been as bad about that as some other studios have been. Sony has been pretty bad. Warner Brothers has been bad at some points in the past. Fox actually was awful at times in regards to this sort of thing. Disney and Marvel are not the worst offenders as far as this kind of thing tends to go. But even taking that into account, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be doing it if this was not a case of it's a movie they pretty much guarantee everyone's going to see anyways. So they have that backing, and they also don't really have to establish anything. I mean, anybody who saw Infinity War knows the deal. They know what the goal is going to be. The goal is going to be to undo what Thanos did, and they know the stakes. So you don't have to reestablish any of that, because anyone who has no clue what's going on in this at this point, they didn't watch the last movie, in which case this movie's going to have nothing for them anyway, because it's such a direct follow-up that there'd be no point in seeing this if you hadn't seen Infinity War. And it doesn't it doesn't pretend that that is not the case, which I love. As far as the trailer itself, setting aside the overall general feel and vibe to the marketing, which again, I love, this is, again, banking on some older material, which some of the other trailers have also done. And that would have run the risk of starting to get old, except they didn't recycle old audio this time. They did recycle some old video, but honestly, there was something about going monochrome with only the red popping through that I really kind of enjoyed. There's something about that gave it a little extra something and made me not mind the recycling of old footage in order to, give us something to look at other than, spoiler stuff, which is, what I would have been afraid of if they had filled it out with footage from the new film. But something about that really works for me. Something about that monochrome with just the red popping, and the nature of what was red and popping across the screen changes from shot to shot to shot, whether it's, just bits of Tony's arc reactor, whether it's just the red stripes on the flag when we get Captain America, whether it's Thor's cape, whether it's Falcon's, goggles, big chunks of Okoye's outfit, or, just these tiny little slivers. It's a nice mix, and I enjoy that a lot. So now moving on from that, getting into the new footage that we actually get. So we get kind of a reestablishment of the characters that we've already seen in the trailers up to this point. There's a few images I really like. I really like Rocket hanging out on War Machine's shoulder. I don't know. I never thought of the two of them pairing off. I kind of love that, and I really want to see that now. And I like the intensity that's going on with Natasha, and also with Steve a little bit. He's got a little bit more of a twinkle in his eye in some of the shots they have from this than he's had in some of the other stuff, which, cool, I'm down with that. I would say that the one thing that I don't love these white and red Avengers logoed outfits that they're all striding in towards the end. I doubt they're going to be in those for very long. For my money, that's stuff they have to put on in order to basically go into space and go after Thanos. For my money, that's why they're in those. It's basically, the Avengers equivalent of spacesuits. Because there's no way they stay in those. Because if for no other reason than visually, logistically, it would be a horrible idea. Especially when the action scenes get as intense as they can be in these movies. You need all of these characters to be and remain visually distinct from each other. So, the costume is a pretty big way of how that's done. So you can't have them all in the same outfit. So I don't see that sticking around too long. So as much as I don't love that look, I doubt it'll be there for very long. I also don't love Hawkeye's hair. It looks dumb. It's just not a good look. That said, I was really intrigued by sort of the, presumably it's a flashback of him with his family, and it looks like teaching his daughter archery. And it's been the suspicion, it's not confirmed in the trailers, and it's not even really confirmed in this one, but there's something about the very haunted look that he has in the shots where we get a good look at him that says to me his family went in the snap. And it would also justify that flashback being shown to give that a little bit more weight and more poignancy. So that would make a lot of sense, especially for how the trailer is constructed. And I'm just really excited for this thing. My hat goes off to this entire marketing approach. It is doing such a good job of, speaking personally, building up hype while giving away nothing. I don't want to, because I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's going to happen before I get into the theater, but I am so excited to see this. So, and then there's the tail end where we get Captain Marvel in there. And I like that they don't give her like this big, huge hero shot, which is, and this is not knocking what they did for the Civil War trailer, but like to compare it to, say, when they showed Spider-Man for the first time in that Civil War trailer, that was like a big hero highlighted shot. They ended it with it. It sort of lingered. It was instantly, gifable, memeable, all this stuff. With Carol's appearance in this trailer, that's not so much the case, and I kind of like that. I like that it's more subdued, and I like that she is maintaining that cool, calm, collected thing. I mean, my review for Captain Marvel is out, and I did pretty much like it. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it, and I did like her. What I especially like here is I like it under other circumstances, the whole idea of a character who has already been around and we already know and love saying, I like her, like to a new-ish, new to the Avengers movies anyways, character, like almost like it's a seal of approval, like, see, audience, you like her because you like him and he likes her. Like that under other circumstances might have annoyed me and struck me as manipulative, but there's something about it here. I think what it is why, because I feel the reason it doesn't feel manipulative to me here is because I understand why he feels like that, and it feels true to the character, which is that Thor does a very Thor thing, which is he has this big kind of show-offy moment, calling the axe to his hand right by her head, and she doesn't flinch. Like, her eyes just kind of, and a little smirk, like, otherwise no reaction. I think he's impressed by how unimpressed she is. And that, to me, and like the fact that she gives that little smirk, and she's not like dismissing what he did. She's not like, whatever. She's like, oh, okay, so you do that. All right. And I kind of like that he's like, all right, you've seen stuff. You know what's up. I like her. And that's why this moment works for me. Even though on paper it's the sort of thing that might have otherwise annoyed me, it's executed just right to like get just in there, thread the needle, and get the sweet spot so that it works and doesn't irritate me, because it very easily could have, but didn't. So again, my only complaints are tiny aesthetic things, like Hawkeye's hair and these, what I'm presuming are spacesuits. But other than that, oh man, when does this thing come out? Is it April or is it May? Whichever it is, it's not soon enough. So, Avengers Endgame, latest trailer. It's out. What do you think about it? Whatever your thoughts are, drop something down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Bunch of stuff to do. Buttons, links, Patreon. My wish list is down there because it's my birthday this month. Next week, actually. Hey! So if you feel like get me something off there, that's there. There's a P.O. Box if you want to send me stuff that isn't on the wish list. I promise after the month's over, I will stop trying to get people to send me free stuff. But that stuff's all down there if you want to take a look at it. And if you don't, that is okay too. Because at the end of the day, folks, you are the council. I'm just running the meetings. And until next time, this council is adjourned.